And joining us on the line to talk about her brand new song, great to be chatting to her again, we've got Emily Hatton. G'day, Emily. How you doing today?
Oh, hey, I'm great. How are you?
Doing fantastic, and I understand that we've escaped the gloomy, cold, miserable Melbourne.
Yeah, I moved to Brisbane. Woohoo!
Into Brisbane. Was it just purely the sunshine that drew you there, or what drew you to go to Brisbane?
It was everything. It's just,
Okay.
You know how you're in a place and you feel the energy of the place, and some places are just like a magnet to you. This was one of them. So I just listened to that calling, I guess, and yeah, here I am.
And so how have you gone? Have you moved on your own, or you're with someone, or how's it been? Not that I'm trying to pry or anything, but yeah, just sort of how was this move for you?
I just completely picked up my whole life and went. Yeah, it was as simple as just putting everything in my car, and I drove like 19 hours, I think. And I knew about 2 people when I got here, and it was kind of a leap of faith, you know. And I find that, if you take those sorts of risks in life, then that's when you get the biggest reward and the biggest growth. So it's definitely all happening that way.
So it's only been a short time, but have you noticed some growth in you already?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for everything, on every level, skill-wise, it was career, and I'm playing, all the time. And I'm quite reflective. Yep. So the sunshine does that, I think. But also the, just monsoonal weather that comes out of nowhere, that also humbles you.
Yes, and then there's been a bit of that of late up in Brizzy as well.
Yes, there has. We had a pool for a good day or two outside our backyard. So,
well, have you noticed the difference in the cuisine of Melbourne and the cuisine of Brisbane?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't really eaten out that much, but there are a lot of like tropical sort of flavors that I see floating around. Yeah. Oh, and like the foliage and stuff, that's all different. If I go for a walk, I just take everything in, and I'm looking at, oh, hey, that's a papaya tree. I've not seen one of those growing in someone's backyard back in Victoria. So I think that's really cool. The spiders, I'm not about the spiders, though. They're like as long as my hand, and they just kind of hang there in their webs right above the footpaths.
Yeah, no, not a fan of the spiders myself, but I know what you mean there. So this new area, really, have you started to find, the creativity sparks just starting to happen, and you're starting to get ideas for songs and what you want to do, and some new music to come from you?
Yeah, absolutely. I moved here, and it's like I can't stop writing. I'm getting inspiration from every which way, and there's just more of a flow, I guess. It's so easy to just sit here and, like pump one out in a couple of hours. It's just very free-flowing with my brain and the environment, and it's so great.
Is this more to do with the lyric side of things or the melody music side of it?
Both, everything, all of it, which is great because that's the best when it all happens at once. Sometimes you can have complete writer's block, but then other times you can be really stuck for lyrics, but you're great with the melody is just flowing. And then other times it's vice versa. And here it's just been both. It's like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to put that one in. And then like, oh, that's a cool word, or like, oh, that's a cool phrase that I came up with, or an analogy or something. And yeah, it's coming together like puzzle pieces. Well,
the last time I spoke to you, you were a finalist in a global songwriting competition, the Vanda and Young. So how did you go with that?
Yeah, I was a top 40 finalist, which was an incredible honor. I honestly didn't think that was even possible because there were so many amazing people in the top 40 with me who are just, way more established and everything. So that was a huge surprise. But yeah, that's one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my career. I'm just so grateful for that whole time.
Well, being part of those 40 songwriters, and that, were you looking at those other 39 and thinking, well, that's a good idea from that, that inspires me, or I like that idea, or I like the way that turn of phrase is. Were you picking up ideas and that from the other ones, the other songwriters?
I'm definitely always inspired by, everything that I hear. I can take something away from everything, whether it's, like the way that someone's made a move in their career, or the way that someone phrased something. So, there's inspiration to be found everywhere.
And now you're in your new spot in Brizzy. Have you got new music that you've just encountered that's you're really enjoying, that you're finding inspiring too?
Oh, you mean like have I heard any new music?
Yeah, anything new.
Well, my housemates have quite a different in taste in music than I do, so they're always playing some new stuff that, I say, hey, my ears kind of perk up and I'm like, what's that? What's that about?
Have you been finding that's good, getting on them, talking about music with your housemates?
Oh, yeah, they love it. Yeah. They're all about it.
Are they trying to give you songwriting ideas?
No, they tell me that I'm the professional and then they'll leave the professional to do what they do best.
Well, that's probably a good thing, but you never know. They might give you a good idea. You never know. So
they probably will.
Yeah. Now, your new song, it is called Red, Wine and Blue. And that nearly was going to say red, white and blue, but it's red, wine and blue.
It is. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I like the way you did that. Now, I would naturally assume that there was some wine involved in this process of writing this song.
Well, it is the first, explicit reference that I've made to alcohol in my writing. It's very quite obvious that, wine is involved in part of the narrative. However, I'm not actually a big drinker myself. It was more of a metaphor because it was partly biographical, but then also partially it was my escapism. And so I wanted to interweave a story that was not mine. And it came from me picturing this woman. I didn't know who she was, but this was in the height of, the past 2 years of one of the lowest points that I was, feeling the bluest that I've ever felt in my life. And this escapism of prying into this girl's story, that's where the song led to. And part of that was I pictured her, holding a glass of wine in one hand. Yeah. And she was sitting in this dull, low lit room, and there were fireworks exploding outside. And I said to myself, oh, that's the 4th of July. And so that's kind of how that idea was born around the 4th of July and wine. And it was, one big metaphor analogy. But then I also put my deepest, rawest feelings into that song. So, yeah.
I kind of gather that then, listening to it, and that it might have come from a deep place. I was going to say a dark place, but it came from a deep place. So are you okay now? Have you moved out of that area and you're doing all right?
Oh, thank you for asking. I have, because I wrote the song, and that's the magic of music, that's exactly what the song did for me. It pulled me out of that. It took me from almost ennui, and melancholy to feeling that ray of hope. So, yeah.
And if that was created by, being through the lockdowns and all that, I'm sort of assuming here, is that something that you're going to be guarded against in the future, that you want to try and avoid being in that sort of situation where things are out of your control? You want to have a bit more control about what you want to do?
I think that there are so many things that we can't control in life, and it's up to us how we want to perceive it and what we want to do with that particular scenario. And I think that there's nothing more priceless than peace of mind. And I'm just lucky that music is what brings me that and that feeling and makes me feel okay. So if there's nothing else that I can control in my life, it's that I'm able to write songs. So that's what I lean on.
And keep doing it, because if it gets you through it, it'll help get others through it as well. One of the things,
and that's the whole point too for releasing music. I just want to make other people feel things and hopefully help them in the way that music's helped me.
Now, this song, Emily, you said the fireworks and the sparks, and it's about 4th of July, and it does a very distinct American sound, this track. It doesn't sound Australian at all, and it really is. If I was told that this was from a new American artist, I'd go, yep, it's just got all the sounds, all the little boxes that you tick mentally to tell you. So was that deliberate to do it that way? Because if it is, you've absolutely nailed it.
I'm glad you picked that up. Yeah, it was 100% deliberate. I have family in America, so I have ties there. I'm not just like some Australian that's doing something American. I have American family, and I also spent 6 months abroad at Washington State University. Go Cougs! So I definitely have, an adoration to that country and the life that I built there and the people that I love there. Yeah. And of course, I then take inspiration. And I definitely wanted to intertwine because it's about the 4th of July and Independence Day, I wanted to incorporate some element of, something that sounded like, I guess, their national anthem in a way. And, sort of inspiration along those lines. So thank you for saying that.
No, well, you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And I got it when I heard it, and I thought, wow, if I was told this was a US artist, I would have just gone, yep, sounds very American. But knowing that it's an Aussie girl, irrespective of the Go Cougs, irrespective of that, it just, to me, it was just like, it really evoked exactly what you wanted to try and get across, and it was just perfectly done. And that where it could have fallen, it could have sort of got a bit of an Aussie sort of element to it, which would have not quite got it there and that. But I think you've just nailed it, musically, absolutely spot on.
Oh, you're so kind. I could talk to you all day.
Yeah, well, my wife might disagree with that because she
that's funny.
But you know what I mean. So is this like more? We're going to get more from this sort of style in the music that you're writing, where you're going to picture how it is and you want to try and really get the musical element, whether it's American or Australian or whatever, you're going to really try and focus in on that?
You know what? Part of the magical thing about music that still keeps me captivated and going back for more is that I don't even know what's going to come to me next. I don't know, where my inspiration's going to come from. And as I change and grow in my life, so too will my sound. I never want to, release the same thing twice. Hopefully, I want to always be leveling up or doing something better or different that people, are going to continue to be pleasantly surprised over. So I'm not sure if I will, but I definitely want to keep exploring, country music in all of its levels. And actually, if I'm giving a spoiler, I'm moving towards creating an album where the whole concept is trying to cover, almost all of the subgenres of country, because there's this huge discussion over what country is, lately. And it's very subjective, but it's also, it's just so broad. There's a huge spectrum. And so I kind of want to play with the country pop idea and express that in my own way. With both my American and Australian influences.
Well, that sounds like it's going to be more than just a single album to me, because there is more than a single album's worth of genres to explore. You've almost a triple album. So I'm quite now. Personally, I love concept albums, and I like that because I like it when an artist takes me on a journey, and it's a way of trying to figure them out, because they always put little clues into their personality and to the makeup of who they are as an individual. So I love the idea of a concept album. So if you're doing that, then please do it, and I cannot wait to hear it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely be working on it.
And it better be a double album. It's just got to be a double. I'm thinking, it's got to be a double now. And
well, in saying that, songwriters only have 3 minutes to try and squash in all of their thoughts onto one topic, and we somehow managed to do that. So
in a concept album, you don't have to, because you can run the same thought across 2 or 3 songs. It can eventuate to part 1, part 2, and whatever. So you're allowed to do that.
That's so true. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I'm looking forward to whatever happens. Well, Emily, what's coming up with you over the next few months? You got more songs? What's going on? Are you touring? What's happening?
What is happening? Everything is happening. I'm definitely looking at doing some shows that are me playing music that I have written. Yep. I'll be at Gympie Music Muster. I'm in the town
coming up.
Yep. And then at Eka as well. And also I'm opening for Amber Lawrence later on this year in September. So
excellent.
If you go to her page, all the details will be there.
But we want to go to your page and your website, which is emilyhatton.com, and we can get some details on that. And you got some cool store stuff as well, so we can get some merch from you as well as check out your new song, which we can pre-order and download and add to our collection.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I do have a website.
Well, Emily, it's great chatting to you. Good luck with everything. Thank you for spending time with us today on Flow. We've got your new song here. I'm looking forward to hearing that and the eventual concept album that it'll be part of. hint, hint. But thank you so much for spending time with us today. Enjoy your new life in Brizzy. I'm looking forward to how that's going to impact on your music too. If you could please introduce the song for all our Flow listeners.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Emily, and this is my new single, Red Wine and Blue.
One hand on my heart, one on the bottle. It was the 4th of July, and my smile was brighter than the fireworks in the sapphire skies. But my world came crashing when I stumbled home. You'd left me with nothing but the smell of your cologne. Red wine and blue, now that's all I know. Feeling as empty as this bottle of cheap Merlot. Every star-spangled banner is just salt in the wound. Every day without you here has been red wine and blue, stained on our ivory bedsheets and smeared on our crystal glass. Found her scarlet lipstick, and you can never take it back.